Protect the Game presents the PTG Pod. It's time to talk about veterans and officiating. Here is the host of the PTG Pod, Big John Quick.
Welcome into
Protect the Game presents the PTG Pod. It's time to talk about veterans and officiating. Here is the host of the PTG Pod.
There we go. All right. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of the PTG Pod. I am Big John Quick, and this is Season 2. So, baseball season has already started, and we have trainings that has gone on all winter long, including in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We just completed one in January, completed one in Arizona, in Wisconsin, and we have them all over the nation now, fellas and ladies. And, if you're a veteran out there, love to have you be a part of it. All you have to do is visit our website to find out where all the training's at PTG, at protectthegame.org, and look at all the trainings. But today, I have a special guest today. And lately, in the last couple of years, we have had issues with abusive officials. We have had social media that has come to the forefront to stop this abuse. And abusive officials is really the number one reason why new officials walk away inside of 3 years, is because they don't want to get yelled at. And sometimes when you have abusive officials, it also prevents people from signing up because they don't want to get yelled at. No matter if it's a soccer official, baseball official, basketball, football. Football is kind of spaced out. Even soccer is kind of spaced out. I mean, people have to really scream and for the officials to hear them. But baseball is really tight-knit. Basketball is inside of a gym. You can't help but hear people scream at you and all that stuff. But it's one of the number one reasons why people walk away and say, I've had enough. There's been organizations out there, such as my next guest, Stop Abuse of Officials is joining me. Say so. Edward Pomerantz is joining me. And Edward, I like this guy so much. He decided to take it upon himself. He is the founder and president of Say So, Stop Abusing Your Sports Officials. As a sports official himself, he has stood on the field and felt the impact of abuse firsthand, an experience that drives too many officials away from the game they love. He founded Say So to give officials a voice through awareness, education, community collaboration, and eventually legislative advocacy. The goal of changing the culture of sports is to, one, build on respect, accountability, and fairness. And that's really what us officials are about. We're about respect, and we're about accountability and fairness. I know a lot of fans and a lot of spectators out there don't think we are, and we're out there, and think it's all about us, and it's really not. And especially around a high school season kicking off across the nation. I know minor league and professional baseball has started spring training, but we are the hardest critics on ourselves when we're on that field. And when I talk to people, and I tell this story all the time, I talk to people and I tell people, listen, we're only human. The officials that you see do your high school games and youth sports games are members of your community, doctors, police officers, clerks at a convenience store, whatever profession they have. But just remember that these sports officials take time away from their own families on a weekend, doing 5-6 games on a weekend, away from their own families to make sure that your child or your player out there can play that sport, no matter what sport it might be. But we take time away from our families. We're not getting rich off of it. Definitely not getting rich off of it. Not even paying a car payment with what the money that we make. Right now in New Mexico, the high school varsity official makes $75 a game. So it's not much money. So, and if you talk about travel baseball, I know probably the top dollar, maybe 14, 15, 16U is $80 a game in travel baseball. But let's bring in my guest here, because I'm sure he has a lot of input here. Edward's joining me here on the PTG Pod. And Edward, thanks for joining me here. And this is such an important topic, especially as we swing into the season, pun intended. But we really got to make sure our officials stay safe out on the field. And the only way to do that is bring awareness. And one of the things that I do, Edward, is when I give speeches, I make sure I make it a point to know that these are not professional umpires. They are amateur umpires, that do your high school games and do your travel summer league games. These amateur umpires spend time away from their families, even in the off season, to get educated, to attend clinics and to further their education as far as trying to, sorry about that, folks. My phone, I just put it on vibrate right now, but, to further their education and try to get better. But we are the hardest critics that are on that field, because when I give that speech, I always ask people, how many pitches do you think an umpire should miss during a game? And I ask, should it be 0? And everybody raises their hands, right? Because that's what people expect. People expect some perfection. Then I ask, how many people think 5 pitches is acceptable? Well, most hands are staying up. 10 pitches. Now we're starting to see fewer hands. 15 pitches, fewer hands. 20 pitches, fewer hands. But if everyone realizes out there that an amateur umpire at a high school game or your travel ball game sees an average of 300 pitches, if that umpire misses 30 out of 300 pitches, that is a 90% accuracy rate, right? Edward, don't you agree? And at any level, I know I'm an assigner. At any level, that is an acceptance of a rate at 90% to say that is a good rate for these officials to be at if they miss 30 pitches. But I will tell you that most officials that work for me, if they miss 10 pitches, they're upset with themselves. I'm not upset with them, but they're upset with themselves. Edward, welcome into the show, and what say you?
Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Hi, everyone. I'm Edward Pomerantz. I am the founder and president of Say So Stop Abusing Your Sports Officials. John makes some excellent points. Yes, many new officials are hesitant because they don't want to get yelled at. Here's the thing. You need thick skin to be an official, but no one needs to be abused. Period.
I agree with that, and thick skin only carries you so far. We are humans, after all. We're not robots. And thick skin, that doesn't say you have the right to curse me out of my name, call me all sorts of insult me, stand at that fence and complain about a play that happened 2 innings ago and continue until I finally have to recognize it and address it. Because that's what that fan essentially wants, is they want to be noticed, and don't understand that, hey, we have a hard enough job in between the lines. We don't need to pay attention to what's behind us.
Yes. And if you think you know the rules, sign up. We need the help.
Absolutely.
I'll be more than helpful. I'll be more than willing and helpful to help you find an association. You can find me on Facebook later. Please find my association. I'll be glad to help you find an association for you.
Now, what is your experience as an official? How long have you officiated, and what sports have you officiated?
I've been an official since I was 12 years old.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. And I'll say it.
I'll
be 34 this year. I've been official since I was 12 years old. Big shout out to my home base, Indian Valley Little League and Rondout Valley Little League. Big component of my life. And I've done many sports. I've done baseball, football, softball, girls basketball, lacrosse, multi-sport official.
That is awesome. And thank you for what you do. I mean, especially at the age of 12 years old. I think I started at a late age. I was a baseball player in high school and couldn't make it to play, professional baseball. And somebody told me about an opportunity to stay in a game and umpire at a local summer league. And at that time, using those big old pillows and shin guards over, when you're wearing shorts out there, little league and stuff like that, and umpiring 9 and 10-year-olds. And then I got whiff of a professional school in Daytona Beach called Harry Wendelstedt School for Umpires, professional umpires. But at that time, you were talking 1988, 1989, and I attended in 1989, and I will tell you, it's the best thing that I ever did, and I've traveled the country umpiring baseball, and I've dabbled my feet into basketball, and those are the only 2 sports I've ever dabbled in. I try to get in football. I just can't remember these rules. It's so hard to remember like a triple sport. And it's bad enough I was trying to remember 2 sports. But, I would say my expertise, I mean, I am the rules interpreter for the state of New Mexico for high school. And I will say my expertise is baseball, and it is NFHS, rules and baseball. I know that book inside and out. But I will tell you, doing it at a young age, I mean, you probably got a hot dog and a soda probably to do that game, and maybe $15.
Indian Valley was 10. Rondout at Indian Valley was a hot dog and soda. Rondout Valley was $10 per game, and it's not the same anymore. And I'm a Wendelstedt umpire school graduate myself. 2013.
What year? 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So Hunter was the instructor then, huh?
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be around his dad. His dad was a mentor of mine, and the chief, I will never forget him. And the words of wisdom that he offered me when it was just special, and it was a special time in my life as well. In your experience, what type of stories do you have? I mean, I'm sure there is something that triggered you to say, you know what, enough is enough, and I have to create say-so.
It first happened with a statistic I saw. It was from National Association of Sports Officials. It says 70% of new officials quit within the first 3 seasons. I said, if I can at least minimize abuse, we can keep our officials again. And you being around as long as you and I have, we have been abused one way or another, whether you take it with you to your car or not. But you feel when you make a bad call.
Oh yeah.
You feel when,
I said it earlier, we are our worst critics.
Yep.
When we know we kicked the what of a call, I mean, we're our worst critics after that game.
Mm-hmm.
And we're sitting in that car, and we're thinking, God, could I have gotten in a better position? Could I have seen it better? Could I have slowed down my timing on that call? God, what could I have done better that I didn't kick it, and we are our worst critic, and, it's just something that if you truly care about the craft, it's just going to be that way. We certainly don't need other people to tell us. We feel when we've had a bad day out in the field or at a court.
It's interesting. Sometimes we know we did bad, but the audience doesn't feel that way, or they keep it to themselves. Sometimes you have a great day, you made some good calls, and the fans think the opposite. It's weird. One of my favorite things, personally, it's really funny when hundreds of fans boo the right call. It's part of the game. So we love to do.
Hey, right now we're live on YouTube. If you have a question for Edward or myself regarding, or have a story of being abused, we love to hear from you. But chat with us and send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. We'll answer any questions that you might have when it comes to officiating. If you're a fan out there, a spectator out there, is there something that you may have seen and you wondered, hey, listen, I've seen this and this and this and this. We'd love to answer those questions as well. I'm an open book, folks. I love to talk it, and I love to talk rules, and I love to talk mechanics and things like that. So if you're a fan out there and there's something that you see, I'm not saying, folks, don't get us wrong. We're not saying every single official out there is perfect. I will tell you that every single official out there tries their best. Otherwise, we wouldn't be out there, no matter who we are. Would you agree to that?
There are subpar employees wherever you go. It's no different in officiating. We're humans. We're not going to be perfect.
Right.
And this expectation from the pros down. We don't have replay. We don't have 360 replay. We don't have slow motion. We have one shot, one angle to get the right call, and we hope it's right.
Now, we have some great people out there. We have the guy, with offsides. He does a great job on his social media and calling out the cheeseburgers, and that's what we call fans that are just overly abusive as cheeseburgers. And but the thing is, and he's gotten national media attention, for what he's done, and it just doesn't seem like it's not enough, because we still see the viral videos of recent games and the way people act sometimes. And unfortunately, it's the young kids that's playing this game that suffers from it, because no matter what an official does or whatever a fan does, there's only one victim, and that victim is the child that's playing that game. And it's a bad experience, because when their parents or family members or friends of families act the way they act and do that towards officials, you guys got to understand, kids are sponges. They're like tofu that absorbs ingredients. Okay. They're going to remember that, and then they're going to take that into their adulthood, thinking it's okay to talk to people in that manner.
Well, we have to understand we're on the same side. Don't look at me as
the same thing.
Yeah, don't look at us as the enemy. We're not. Without your kids, we can't officiate. We can't do what we love to do. And without us, you don't have a game.
That's really well said. And, I'll tell you, I've had my share of ejections, and, and I'll tell you, my last year on the field, I was umpiring here in Arizona, and my partner, it was so bad with the fans and getting all over him on his zone. And he had a good zone. It was tight, but it was consistent and it was good. And we just wound up clearing the whole stadium. I mean, it was, hey, everybody's got to go, And here's the thing. My message to you out there as a fan, if you're a good fan, then start policing the bad fans, because we need your help. We need the people that is a good fan to say to the people that are bad fans. And I had a mother one time tell me, I was doing a speech, and I asked for questions, and she raised, and she goes, "You said that we should police, but a lot of us don't like conflict." Okay, so do you think I enjoy conflict? Is that what we're saying here, that umpires enjoy conflict? We don't enjoy it either. We don't enjoy people following us to the parking lot, or people bringing up their cell phones and put it in our face after a game, as we're now on private time. We're no longer even doing the game, and we're trying to get, baseball officials. We don't have locker rooms. The parking lot's our largest locker room in the world, and we have to get undressed and dressed there. We have to take our gear off and put it away in the parking lot. And sometimes that leaves us exposed to the bad behavior, unfortunately. And there's too many times in my career that I've had people come up to my partner and I, when we're at the parking lot, and start ranting and raving, asking for our names. They're going to report us to the state. They're going to get us declassified or delicensed, or we're never going to umpire ever again, blah, blah, blah. If I collected $1 for every fan that ever told me that I'm never going to umpire ever again, I'd be rich. Now, Edward, with Say So, tell me what your goal is with Say So. What can we do as officials? What can we do as a fan of the sport to support Say So, and what is your mission?
Thank you. I think it's entertainment what Offsides is doing. If I don't want to be name called, I'm not going to call you a cheeseburger. That's not who I am. I don't believe that.
Okay.
I think through education, speaking at my local Little Leagues, speaking more. I plan to go to my former high school soon. Speak, have that tough conversation, figure out how we can have a happy medium. Like I just said before, you need me just as much as I need you. We got to somehow come together. At my former Little League, Indian Valley, I made a sportsmanship contract. We're going to enforce rules, not just say we have rules, enforce rules. Like for Little League, you can do a simple strike 3 rule. First time a warning, second time, hey, we really got to talk, and you're going to have a game. 3 strikes, you're out.
Yep.
Be something simple as that. And hopefully with more popularity and more sports get involved. It's a marathon, not a sprint to change culture.
Yeah.
But we need to try. I need to try. We need to try. Yeah.
And I will tell you, the leagues have to be accepting the fact that we want to come there and talk to the fans and open that door. I've offered to many, and I only had 2 high schools take me up on it, but I want people to say, hey, John, please come and talk to our fan base. They have questions. They have concerns. They have questions. I welcome it. I welcome the hard conversations. I welcome that education, like you said. I'm also in agreement that I don't like to call people names. I rather educate somebody. And like I said in the beginning, when I go do these things, I talk about the pitches and I talk about how many pitches umpires should miss. I will tell you that on my side, with what we do with Protect the Game and training, and we continue that training at Protect the Game, just doesn't stop one time. And we also do what you're doing, introduce them to leagues and assigners that's going to further that education. And I will tell you, if we want to talk about stopping the abuse, having veterans a part of our officiating community is a great way, because they've handled conflict. They've handled the toughest of pressures in the military. And so we give them in the civilian life a brand new mission. And that mission is to protect our game. And one of the things that we do at Protect the Game is, yes, we are inviting veterans, but we are also inviting family members of veterans. So not only are we saying, hey, if you're a veteran, we're going to provide free training, we're going to give you uniforms, we're going to give you equipment. But even if you're not a veteran, you're a family member, maybe your uncle was a veteran, maybe your great-great-great-grandfather was a veteran, and you want that training, we invite you to sign up for free, and we will train you for free. Now, veterans are the ones that get all the brand new equipment, courtesy of our partnership with Battlefields to Ball Fields. And Mike does a great job over there, and we thank him immensely for his partnership with Protect the Game. And I've met Mike on several occasions, and him and I have become friends and things like that. And as a matter of fact, I was his chauffeur for a whole weekend in Albuquerque when he came and spoke, and we just had some laughs. But I will tell you that when we train veterans, and I've seen it over and over and over again, and I actually had a couple trainees that made to the state tournament, in about 2-3 years, and umpire either a quarterfinal or semifinal, and that is the greatest reward for me, is to see our veterans that we do train across the nation. I hear stories from veterans across the nation. We have the first veterans that Protect the Game ever train is holding trainings themselves in Colorado, at DBATS. That individual, amazing guy. And, I will tell you that when I go and shake hands and I stick around and I talk to some of these veterans and hear their stories and hear the story that when they came home, they have no clue what they were going to do. And now we are giving them that purpose. We're giving that mission. And that mission is to protect the game. And Protect the Game last year launched its first football training in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're going to have the second annual one, but we do volleyball, We do softball, we do baseball, football, and we want to add more sports. And I think a part of this is the reason why I'm having you on, Edward, is just to bring awareness on the abuse aspect of it. And we need to educate now the fan base. We're moving in the right direction. We're not there yet. We're moving in the right direction and recruiting and getting these umpires to sign up. Now, you that's watching right now, we need your help. We need your cooperation. You need to join the mission to stop abuse. And the only way we can do that is do it as a community. Edward can't do it by himself. Big John Quick can't do it by himself, no matter if it's on this podcast or no matter if it's at a veteran trainer, no matter if it's at a clinic. I can't do it all on my own. We need you as a community to say enough is enough. Let's compete with class. Say yes to officiating. And Edward, what kind of education is Say So going to be as you move forward? What kind of education is Say So going to be doing in order to hopefully bring awareness to the fans out there? And if you're a fan of any sport, whatever sport that might be, join the movement. Join the movement of stop abusing sports officials. But Edward, how are you going to move forward with education?
Education starts with communication. I can go on podcasts and talk.
Yeah.
We can go to ball fields and speak. Maybe I'll have a podcast of myself someday and move on. It's going to be a collaborative effort.
Agreed.
To educate and do my best here to explain. We need help from tournament directors, so my father, Glenn Pomerantz, had an excellent pitch. He said, we have all these administrators at games to protect coaches, to protect fans. They got to help us out.
And I will tell you that most tournaments that I've come across is moving in that direction and doing a good job at it.
Good.
And I'm talking about Triple Crown. Triple Crown's number one. Triple Crown and Pathway Baseball. And I'm not saying that because this show is a partnership with Triple Crown Sports and Protect the Game. But I will tell you firsthand that I know every single tournament director that works these games. I've seen them here in Arizona. I've seen them in Colorado. I've seen them here, in New Mexico with Pathway. A fan acts up, out they go, and they're gone for the weekend. But again, I will say this, Edward. Yes, you're right. More tournament directors, and I will tell you, most of the tournament directors at Perfect Game, when they're doing their tournaments, are super fantastic with our umpires. I do see, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus, not going to mention names, but I do see some of these tournament directors are just sitting in their chairs and letting this yelling and screaming going on. And, the umpire's got to handle it. Well, no, how about you stop it before the umpire has to handle it? And that's what we need to do. And you said it perfectly. A community. We need the community, not just tournament directors, but we need the good fans. We need the fans that love the game to say enough is enough. Don't do that. I understand conflict. I understand you don't want to have conflict, but isn't a little bit of conflict better than a lot of embarrassment? I'm just saying. I mean, I've talked to many fans that are good fans, And like, man, I'm embarrassed, on how that person act. Well, did you say something to that person? Well, no, I didn't want to get involved. But that embarrassment wasn't enough for you to say, stop. Let's enjoy the game.
And imagine if you're yelling at this official and he's a 15-year veteran. That don't look good for you either.
Yeah.
You don't know who's behind the mask. You don't know who's in stripes. I mean, now I'm behind the mask or in stripes, but people don't know when they're at the game. I guess 20-year official now in some sort of sport. It could be someone's first game, someone's first varsity game. You want the same accountability as me? That doesn't work anywhere.
Right.
What's the difference now? You said it before. We are doing our best, and I strongly believe that. Yeah, just like anywhere else, someone might have just a paycheck and get out, go home. But they signed up, they took the class just like me. We're humans. We have a job to do, and we do the job as best we can. It's not so. As an official, as you know, John, there are internal politics that I think kind of drive the, I guess, older umpire veterans out. But it's not the reason why. That's not the retention issue. The retention issue comes from the abuse. And imagine if 70% of teachers got abused and they left. You wouldn't have a school system. You wouldn't have this. You wouldn't have that. It's the same principle and philosophy with us. You guys aren't going to have games. I'm telling you now, there's a problem. It's true.
Big crisis.
Mm-hmm. In 22, I took my officiating class, my lacrosse class, with 10 people. 7 of them are already gone. The statistic holds true. And I just left, but I'm doing baseball now. Now I'm going back to my roots.
Right.
But now they're down to 80%.
And that's the thing about the current officials. The current officials feel the crisis. And when we have directors or commissioners saying, hey, why don't you come and try volleyball, or why don't you come and try lacrosse, or come and try another sport because we're in dire need, we have a tendency to step up. And we have a tendency to give it a shot, just because we feel the shortage and we feel the pain at our forte. For me, it's baseball. I don't know. For you, it's baseball. But we feel that pain, so sometimes we do give it a shot. And, part of retainment is the understanding of treatment, and not just of officials, but treatment of human beings. And that's exactly what officials are, Edward. We're human.
What happened to that? What happened to that? Maybe.
I think it goes back, and I'm not saying that this even compares to it, but this is just a small comparison. But I think you're not old enough to remember what happened during Vietnam. And when we talk about veterans, and I'm sure you heard about it in storybooks and stories from veterans themselves. But when they came back from Vietnam, they were spit on. They were called names. And yet we know a lot of Vietnam veterans that are living today and staying strong, not because of thick skin, but because of how they were trained and how they got their education, and they know exactly what happened when they served. So even though they got spat on, even though they got called names, they still held their own. There's some that may have, PTSD from it and all that stuff. And trust me, I know some officials that have received such severe abuse that they did get PTSD from it. This is serious. This is not just, oh, you suck because you can't call a strike. That was low, blah, blah, blah. We are talking about, and we're not talking about the banter that happens during the game. That's sportsmanship. That's a part of the game. And I always tell people that when they say, "Oh, can't we?" Yeah, you can boo. Yeah, you can have an opinion. We're not saying you can't, but to continue on and start yelling to the top of your lungs and start calling names and hoping that somebody dies and then following them out to the parking lot and continuing the name calling and putting your cell phone in their face, that is abuse. That's not sportsmanship.
There's a difference between blue, that's horrible, versus blue, you're horrible. That's different.
Yep.
That's
and I'll tell you, that's a magic word, with some coaches, when we're doing games, blue, that's horrible. Ignore, right? Acknowledge. Blue, you're horrible. Oh, now you might get that warning. Or if you've already been warned, you might get an ejection because now you have directed a comment personally to me. So that's the difference. Words is a difference. What words you use makes it different. Say so. Edward Pomerantz joining me here on the PTG Pod, and I know we're just rallying on here. And Edward, how can people find out more information about Say So and get involved? And maybe no matter where you're at, get involved and become a branch of Say So. And be a part of the revolution and a mission and whatever you want to call it, the calling. I don't care what you call it. But be a part of a solution and not a part of the problem. But Say So. How can people find out more info?
Right now I'm on Facebook. I'm fairly new. I just got my nonprofit status in June 2025.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Big accomplishment.
Yes.
Just building. I'm on Facebook. Definitely Facebook right now. I am on X. That's right. Thank you. Thanks for reminding me. I'm on X. Yep. So the group is Say So. Stop abusing your sports officials. You can do Say So. Stop abusing your sports officials. It'll be right there. The page is just Say So and it has an S on it with a couple stripes. And that's me. The community is pretty cool. Let me see where I am at. Give me 1 second. I think I'm at 900 members already. Hold on. Let me see.
Well, that's good, man. That's good. You're frozen on the video, so I don't know if that had something to do because you went away from it.
Probably. But, hold on. Right there. Yeah, 925 group members of Say So's group themselves.
Nice.
So it's not bad.
Well, Edward, you could share this. It's going to go right back to YouTube. And by the way, follow us on YouTube at Protect the Game, Facebook at Protect the Game as well. And our website is www.protectthegame.org. And I will tell you that we do have 2 trainings that's coming up. One is Friday, April 17th. It is a football training in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So if you're in the surrounding areas, maybe you're in El Paso, maybe you're in Colorado and you want to come down, Dennis Barella does a great job at training. It's a 2-3 days. And I will tell you, I learned more when I was speaking and I was just sitting back and watching. Lan Clark was one of the speakers there, and he's an NFL referee, and Dennis gets some great speakers in there. Leonard Longhorn, who is a Big Ten football official and just completed his first full season at the Big Ten, and he does some training and help out over there. So there's some great speakers, great educators. Also, there's going to be a baseball umpire training in Roswell, Georgia. The date and time is yet to be determined. That's going to be coming up later on this year. But for more information about the trainings, head over to protectthegame.org under trainings and sign up for one. Even if you're just a family member of a veteran, we'd love to have you. It's a free training. Now, the family members themselves, if you're not a veteran, we can get you some equipment. It's going to be gently used. Get you a uniform and all that stuff to get you started. And so, yeah, we'll love to help you out. I know in Albuquerque, I have it in the second, third week of January every single year. I'm trying to get one set up here in the West Valley of Arizona because we have the East Valley covered every year. We have it in Mesa, Arizona. So I'm trying to get one scheduled for West Valley up here in Arizona as well. So I'm working on that. So if you're in Arizona in the West Valley area and you have any ideas of where we can host a 3-day training, get in touch with me. My email address, the PTG Pod @gmail.com, or you can get in touch with me through the website at protectthegame.org and email me that way. Edward, any final thoughts for the listeners out there?
Sure. First off, to all veterans, thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
You guys did the ultimate sacrifice for our country, and we thank you. Now you get to serve our community by joining officiating. I love officiating. Like I said, I've been doing this since I was 12 years old, and there's no other game like it. You're the third team out there. There's the offense, there's the defense, and then there's the umpires. So my message to everyone is we need your help to remind players, coaches, and fans what true sportsmanship looks like. The next generation is watching, and it starts with you.
Thank you so much, Edward. I'm Big John Quick. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And this will be on YouTube, so go back and listen to it. Watch it often. And if you have an idea for a show guest or a show idea topic, email me, the PTGpod @gmail.com. And I'll leave you with this. Be a part of the solution. Join the mission. Will you protect the game? Say yes to officiating. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care of each other.
We're there to serve, make sure we're creating a fair atmosphere for both teams, upholding the integrity of the game.
I chose to be an official. It's the best decision I've made.
In life, things aren't scripted. Games aren't pre-scripted. You know, I got into officiating because my father was an official. Officiating was part of our family life. It wasn't just the game.
Get to be outside, get to experience the game. It's so much more fun. You can get a lot out of it.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
It helped me become not only a better official, but a better person.
It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
And it's just been wonderful.